The Torah is the 5 books of Moses, and it's the source and base of the Jewish tradition, revealed to Moses on Mount Sinai by God. And we're the people of the book, so this is the book. When a Torah is read in synagogues, it has to be read from a scroll, and it has to be written in a particular way, by hand. My name is Julie Seltzer, and I'm currently working as a scribe, a soferet in Hebrew, which means that I write sacred writings. My role in this exhibit is to write a Torah that will be used in synagogues and in communities that are in need of a Torah. I'm a new scribe. This will be my first complete Torah. It's a science. It's a science that I'm still learning. Traditionally, you go to a school and you learn how to be a scribe as a student of scribing. But as a woman, these schools were not open to me. So in the beginning of my process, I looked online and I taught myself some of the basics. And then eventually I found a teacher. And from there, that's when I really started learning the craft and how to properly form the letters. And it's also when I began learning the laws associated with scribing. You start with parchment. And parchment is made from the skin of a kosher animal. And then there's something to write with, which is the quill, which is, for me, the most challenging aspect currently. Cutting the quill from a feather, just getting it the right size, the right sharpness, the right angle, the right flow of ink. Before starting a project, and often during a project, it's traditional to go to a mikveh, a ritual bath, which is really for spiritual elevation. And also before you begin the project, you have to state an intention out loud, that you're doing this writing for the sake of the sanctity of what it is that you're writing. A Torah has 304,805 letters. Not one more, not one less, or else the entire thing is invalid. Every letter has rules that govern how the letter has to be written, because a letter can't look too much like another letter. If you look at a Torah closely, there are score lines. At the top of each line, there's an indentation, and it keeps the line straight. Another interesting rule is that there can't be a barrier between the hand and the Torah. I can't wear gloves that cover my hands. Another rule is that you can't write from memory. So even if I chanted this particular section at my bat mitzvah and I know it by heart, I still have to look at the written text, and I have to say each word out loud before I write it. I have the photocopy of the tikkun, so I underline each line that I write so I can follow where I am exactly. If my eye goes to the wrong place, I know where I am, It makes it easier to not make mistakes. The biggest myth about scribing that I've encountered is the myth that scribes can't make any errors, or else they have to start over from the very beginning of the Torah. If and when I make a mistake, if I catch it right then and there, I try to remove as much ink as I can because it will be easier to scrape off. Some days will be better than others. Everyone has their bad days. Generally for me, it's a bad quill day, which just means that I'm forming and reforming the quills. But in the end, it's worth it, because if you cut a good quill, then the writing goes really smoothly. Sometimes I'm in the story and I'm experiencing the story as I'm writing it, if it's more of a narrative section. And sometimes I'm really not thinking at all about anything. I'm just writing. But it's meditative, and I'm hearing the words, I'm looking at the words, I'm saying the words. You have to say every word of the Torah out loud before you write it. So I'm saying the word, hearing myself say it, and then writing it. Every single person that writes a Torah is going to write a slightly different looking Torah, even though it's completely anonymous. I'm not signing it, it's not my creative stamp. And I don't want that. It's a submission to something much larger than yourself. There's really nothing different about the Torah that I would create now versus 2,000 years ago in terms of the words and the letters. And that's part of what's amazing about this work, is that I'm writing the same words as have been written for this many years. And for me personally, it just connects me back to something bigger, something greater, something much more timeless than me and my very impermanent, quick visit on this earth.